Georgia Southern Athletics here with head coach Jeff Monken, not on the practice fields at beautiful Eagle Creek today. Coach, explain a little bit about how the weather affects your team and that causes you to have to change the schedules.
Well, it's a little frustrating just not to be able to be out there. We have a limited number of opportunities. By NCAA rule, we're permitted 29 practices before our first game. And we have to do those within a certain number of opportunities. Opportunities meaning the school days after school starts, which will start on Monday, but they count backwards into the summer, into August, and say, this is when you can start your practices, and here's when you can have your two-a-day practices. And so when you miss one, it's tough, and it just takes away from the opportunity to prepare. But we'll try to make up for that with meeting time and pick up maybe an extra practice toward the end of this week.
One of the other things you talked about a little bit, Coach, is that you were a little bit less than pleased with practice this morning. What are some of the things that you're trying to instill in this team as they're now nearly 2 weeks away from their first game?
What we always try to instill is a work ethic, self-discipline, toughness, putting the team first. And they've been through 16 practices so far, and this was scheduled to be our fifth and last two-a-day. And I just didn't feel like we came out there with the best attitude about practicing. And sometimes that happens. You get tired. You get taxed mentally and physically, and they are. They're tired. They're about out of gas, and so are we. But that can't keep us from giving our very best effort. And it's a lesson for them, and a chance for us to put the film on and say, look at this practice from 2 days ago, and look at the practice today, and the difference in the tempo and the effort, and those are things they can learn from, and you hope they learn from watching the film and won't allow it to happen again. And really, our kids control that. They our leaders, our older guys, got to do a good job of kind of taking charge of that.
One of the things you were able to do tonight with the stormy weather moving through Statesboro is you did a little bit of a walkthrough. You'll come back and have some meetings. But in your preparation for the scrimmage on Saturday, how does that change the preparation?
Just not having had an opportunity to compete. And a walkthrough is really a good meeting. It allows our guys to move and get into the gaps that are supposed to be on defense, and be able to communicate and verbalize what receivers are supposed to be covering and what kind of coverage and where their help's coming from, and offensively who they're blocking and where their head needs to be, and in terms of leverage on a defender and the reads and the routes and all those things. It's a great way to have a meeting where you're moving around. It really allows the kids, I think, to get a better understanding. But there's nothing like that competition where you're out there in full gear and you got to push, and it's physical, and there is blocking and tackling, and we've got to make sure we get enough of that too so that we're ready to go.
Well, Coach, tell us a little bit about coming into this weekend with Meet the Eagles and then the scrimmage. Have you even sat down as a staff to talk about what you're trying to accomplish Saturday?
Saturday is just an opportunity for us to get every kid in camp some snaps so that we can get a final evaluation after the camp is coming to a close, and before we start practice on Tuesday when school starts, really to decide who's in the mix, who's going to be the guys that we'll count on in the first ball game at every position, offensively and defensively, and then from there allow us to set depth charts on offense so that we've got guys that we know are going to be on the travel squad, and there'll be some guys that'll kind of be on the bubble a little bit still when we start school, but that'll get itself sorted out.
Well, Coach, last thing before we let you go, a big tradition at Georgia Southern, walk-on tryouts on Monday. Tell us how important it is to have those members of the team who really help prepare your squad every week.
We've got a lot of walk-on guys on our team right now that are on full scholarship. They've earned their way through the ranks and have become really productive players for us. And so I'm excited. I'm always excited to see the new group of walk-ons. And they typically do start on the scout team, and that's a really important role on our football team as it is on every football team. So we're looking forward to that. I'm sure we'll have a great turnout for it. We always do, and we'll be back to work on Tuesday as a team.
Well, Coach, thanks for your time. We'll see you tomorrow, possibly for 2 on the banks of beautiful Eagle Creek.
I hope so.